interviewer made Charleston walk out, while another got a strap pulled on him. These are times Charleston White checked interviewers. Orlando Brown caught a quick reality check trying to play with Charleston White during what should have been a regular sit-down. Brown kept calling Charleston daddy and wouldn't let certain topics rest, even after White made it clear that wasn't what they were there for.
I was gonna beat that up.
I went to jail for killing a white man when I was a kid.
So you do cops and all kind of shit.
Whatever I got to deal with, I can deal with.
Now he got the brain.
I'm out on bond. Can you leave that case alone? That's an open case. I'm out on 2 felony bonds. Can you please quit talking about that?
That's real.
Unless you're gonna let me get the gas.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. This with some bullshit.
All the bullshit.
No, he done say.
White was trying to keep it cool at first, but Brown kept pushing his luck, looking for a viral moment by trying to make Charleston lose his composure on camera. That's when White had to let him know what's up.
You didn't admit it to being f***ing by Hollywood executive. You wouldn't fight nobody. You didn't admit it to being f***ing by Hollywood executive. You wouldn't fight nobody. You didn't fight them at No, you didn't fight them at in Hollywood.
The interview really started hitting different when Charleston flipped the script and started grilling Brown about his Hollywood days.
Tough ass. When they were trying to f*** you, did you fight?
Cat Williams, did I speak to you?
When they were trying to f*** you, did you fight?
Cat Williams, did I speak
you, did you fight?
Wait, so you snuck? Are you saying you snuck?
My name Frankie.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have a son named Frankie? Do you have a son named Frankie? Do you have a son and Frankie?
Did you would have fought that hit me? Did you fight?
Only thing that looks good to you is
No, don't try to switch up now. Listen, did you fight them executives that were trying to
beat up?
Did you fight?
With Brown still playing and steady dropping that daddy talk, Charleston finally let everyone know he was about to dip.
When we beat our kids, what do we tell our kids?
No, I'm gonna yo, don't call him daddy. He don't do that. Yeah.
No.
You gotta call him Unc.
I want to talk game, man. I don't want to do this for
Daddy. Man, let's call him Unc. Give him respect to call him Unc.
Come on, nigga gonna beat the.
But if you thought calling someone daddy in an interview was wild, wait until you hear how quick internet jokes turn into yanked mics and almost hands being thrown on Aiden's stream. The whole situation with Prime and Charleston White on Aiden Ross's stream is a perfect example of how internet tough talk can get real quick. Everything was cool until Prime decided to come at Charleston about some clip he'd seen online.
He sent me back, said that's gay, ASL. And I didn't know what the fuck that meant.
I'm sorry, you're gay.
No, he's not. No, he changed my perspective. No, hold on. Gay ASL. I've never seen a d. Have you?
I've seen my
Well, exactly. I seen my
Instead of keeping it professional, Prime started throwing shade and dropping wild comments about Charleston's sexuality.
Well, he can't keep it real on camera. He can't keep it real on camera. We can't get. I didn't. But why you worried about? As a man, why he worried about where I sent my dick? As a man, why he worried about where I sent my dick? Why he worried about where I sent my dick? As a man, what about it?
Aiden tried to fix things, but it pissed Charleston off even more. You could tell Charleston wasn't feeling how Prime was trying to play him on stream. And next thing you know, Charleston's yanking off his mic and ready to show Prime this wasn't just internet talk.
You came and jumped in, nigga. You ain't gonna do that, nigga. What you gonna do then, nigga? What you gonna do then, nigga? What you gonna do? You gonna get your knife? I know what to do. Then I'm gonna throw the punch, nigga. Then I'm gonna, what you gonna do, bitch ass? You got Mason, you wanna get close? And I'm gonna spray it too.
Charleston stood up, letting everyone know he's ready to handle whatever Prime wanted to bring. That's when Prime probably realized he went too far, because he hopped up too, but was real quick to call for Aiden to step in before things got out of pocket.
It's just not that serious, bro. None of this is serious, bro.
I ain't threatening you, nigga.
I'm just saying, none of this. Me? What did I do? I jumped out of this shit.
Come on, homie. He got Mason. He got bare Mason.
You come jump into something you ain't got no business in. Say, homie, he booked me to come here, not you.
Nigga, he booked me too.
I don't give a f***. You ain't the know. You ain't the
I'll chase this dog.
These guys are forgetting Charleston ain't one of those internet personalities just looking for clicks. And speaking of keeping it real, this next interview shows what happens when someone tries to push that street code narrative on a 13-year-old. White's sit-down with Queen's Flip started out chill but heated up fast when the topic of youth justice came up. They were talking about a 13-year-old kid from Philly who witnessed a murder. Queen started pushing that tired street code talk, like kids should know how to move in a grown man's world.
What was your stance on it? Because, you know, people stopped messing with him. Uzi Vert and a couple of people out there stopped messing with him because of the paperwork that came out of him by the code that we was raised on.
Man, wasn't no 13-year-old kid raised on that code.
How you know that? How you know that? Nigga, you was 13 killing niggas, nigga.
Man.
Huh? You was 13 killing niggas. You forgot?
Man, we wasn't on no code.
That's because you changed your life. Listen,
homie.
Man down,
listen, homie. We was all kids on no code. It wasn't no code at 13.
Charleston wasn't having it. He's been in the trenches, doing real work with young people. He wasn't about to let Queen's keyboard gangsta energy slide. Charleston hits him with the facts. No sugarcoating.
So what was your standpoint in that situation? That he...
Listen to what I'm saying. He was a 13-year-old kid, fam. Are you that... Have you killed before?
Who, me asking me?
Have you ever been convicted of killing before? Don't play like you such a fucking hardened criminal where we talking about a 13-year-old kid.
What that got to do with hardened criminal?
A 13-year-old kid, you say he got a code?
He came through with his usual no-nonsense energy, calling out the absurdity of holding children to the same rules adults cling to in the streets. You see, for Charleston, the so-called code was just another excuse to keep hurting the community, and he made it clear he wasn't here for it.
We're still kids at 13, homie.
So you saying?
I'm telling you, I grew up with who killed their mothers and their fathers, and them was still crying. I grew up with some of the most children who committed some of the most worst crimes in the history of the state of Texas, and I'm telling you, homie, they was children. It wasn't no code.
Charleston backed the kid 100%.
Anybody who think that kid was wrong and you ain't never killed nobody. Every speaking on that ain't never done nothing, homie. So that's what I'm saying. I slept next to them who y'all think stood on code, and them cried when their mothers couldn't come see them on Christmas. Cried on birthdays. And every time the anniversary of their crimes came around, homie, them kids was up. How many, man, you can't even stand over a dead body at the funeral home long and folks ain't crying and snotting. Some of the hardest killers. So come on, homie, we ain't finna do that to our black children.
Now the conversation really switches up when Charleston starts breaking down the science behind youth development. Instead of hearing him out, though, Queens try to play him like he was just some dude who Googled something.
Doesn't develop into at or around 25. So you telling me that's just a normal brain? That's just a normal fucking brain.
Something that you learned and you had to read.
No, I didn't read it. I didn't read it, homie.
You had to read it.
I didn't read it, homie. I'm telling you, I'm working with it. I'm working with these killers. You listen, I didn't read it, homie.
Queen's trying to flex internet knowledge, and Charleston had to keep it a buck and remind him who was the expert in the room.
You're a character, though. This is a character. The real you behind it.
You listen, he's stuck on the internet. I'm telling him to get off. I'm telling he's an internet. That's why he's so convicted. He's an internet.
Never internet.
Never internet. That's why he's so convicted about what I'm saying on the internet. I'm telling him in real life, I work on capital murder.
You tell me this in person.
I'm telling you, the internet is a character.
Person, I wouldn't follow it. I'm taking you for face value.
I'm telling you, the internet is a character. Didn't I just say I created
value?
Didn't I tell you, homie? I created the internet persona, the character.
That's what I'm talking about.
But you said, I'm talking
right here. Charleston,
I'm talking about brain development. I'm talking about brain development.
You had to read it.
I didn't read it.
How the f*** you gonna learn about brain development without reading? You Jesus' son, he touched your brain and put the implanted memories and knowledge in your brain like that. Stop doing that.
The whole thing started getting out of control, but Charleston made sure to let Queens know that he was just there because Queens cut the check.
Internet ass nigga. I just said
nigga.
internet ass nigga.
Never in my life.
You one to me.
Queens,
I wouldn't give a f*** where you from.
You
wouldn't give a f*** where you from,
you
nigga.
go on the internet to talk
I wouldn't know. I go to the internet to spread my gospel.
Go crazy and get the
spread
reactions.
gospel. No, to spread gospel. You paid to get me here. The f*** talking about spread the gospel.
You
paid to talk to me. When I'm talking about you talking about I get paid to open my motherfucking mouth. Make $75 an hour as a defense mitigation specialist, and I ain't read a motherfucking thing. Sit and I listen. I sit and I listen like you need to do to the experts. I'm the expert. Nigga paid for me to talk, not for you to talk.
Nah, but I don't have to believe.
Pay. You ain't got to believe
what you're saying.
You ain't got to believe it. Waste your money then. You got to believe something. You got me here.
By the end, it was clear Charleston wasn't about to let anyone push a dangerous narrative about kids needing to follow street rules. For him, the conversation was about breaking cycles and protecting the next generation, not clinging to outdated codes. But wait until you hear how some Twitter fingers.
All right, so right here, I'm going to need y'all to take a second and just drop a like and subscribe. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like the channel, but it costs you nothing. We're going to get right back into this. Let's go, y'all. Woo!
Turn into real threats when someone brought up old murder charges. Charleston White's not about to let DJ Vlad disrespect him online after Vlad jumped into the beef between Charleston, Aiden, Ross, and Boozy. The whole thing kicks off with Charleston convincing Aiden to cancel his stream with Boozy. But Vlad took to Twitter throwing shots at Charleston, posting,
"It's funny how you Charleston always tries to gaslight and calls Boozy a killer even though Boozy went to trial and was not found guilty. Meanwhile, Charleston was convicted of killing a defenseless man while trying to steal his jacket."
Ooh, that got Charleston hot real quick. He fires back, reminding Vlad that while he plays a character online, Boozy's the one with real bodies.
Yeah. Tell Boozy I'll knock his bitch out. I can't now, nigga. Gotta get insulin, can whoop me. Nigga, you better go, nigga. Tell Boozy I'll knock his ass out. Him and Tootie Raw. Yeah, I'll knock Boozy ass out. Boozy don't want to fight.
The back and forth got so heated that Charleston straight up asked Vlad if he wanted to throw hands. But the word is Aiden canceled all his planned streams with Boozy out of respect for Charleston, which shows there's probably more to this story than what the public knows.
I think Boosie a anyway, and I think you a too, Vlad. I bet y'all don't want to fight. Listen, Vlad, we don't want Boosie on Aiden Ross. Yeah, we don't want the diabetic freak on Aiden Ross. And plus, he's a killer. He used kids to kill people. That's why we don't want Boosie on there, okay? Aiden Ross is a kid-friendly channel.
You could tell the situation was weighing on Charleston's mind since he kept bringing it up in other interviews. Unlike some other times when things got physical, this beef stayed online. But knowing Charleston's history, Vlad might want to watch his back if they ever end up in the same room. But this next interviewer found out the hard way what happens when you try to threaten someone over city pride. Charleston White was always quick to check interviewers who step out of line, and Lil Pistol Starter found that out the hard way when he asked Charleston how he felt about Memphis, pointing out that dissing the city could get serious.
How you feel about Memphis? Now look, before you say something about Memphis, you know Memphis nigga get old nigga ass, you know, I'm just saying.
Even though Lil Pistol was trying to keep it light, Charleston wasn't having it.
I don't care nothing about Memphis.
For real? Why not?
Why should I feel anything about Memphis? I don't live here or nothing. So why should I feel anything about Memphis?
It's the most talent here, though.
Why should I feel anything about Memphis? You ask me how I feel about a state that niggas to prison. Yeah. When niggas go to prison, what do it say? Such and such versus the state of Tennessee. So why would I feel anything about a slave state? Why would this ask me how I feel about the plantation?
We're not even halfway through this, and Pistol's threatening to put hands on Charleston.
What would you do if I slapped the shit out of you?
You go die.
You talking about Hollywood?
Yeah, you gonna die. I don't know no man you can slap and you wouldn't die. You might slap a boy.
Type shit.
Yeah, you might slap a boy, but nigga die slapping me.
Lil Pistol started talking about shutting down the whole interview, even calling Charleston a pump faker. The disrespect continued when he told someone off camera to give Charleston some melatonin or weed to chill him out.
Man, in my city, man. I shut shit down. I shut shit down. I can. Come on, man. Stop it. Man, stop it. He pump faking. He pump faking.
Charleston wasn't about to sit there and take it.
I done been in this city several times. I ain't seen you do nothing in this city. How this your city?
Yeah, how's this your city, Hollywood? Tell us, how's this your city? All you gotta do is Google me.
I ain't gotta Google nothing.
You do.
I don't like no Google.
Hey, he probably needs some melatonin. He turned. You probably need some melatonin. Hey, get him some weed.
He chose to walk out, saying Lil Pistol was talking smack about a city he didn't even know that well.
You sure?
I don't like talking to young dog. Interview over. My shit talking ass got a goddamn thing going. Yeah, I hate these whole ass like this here. Man, let's go. No, I done got mad. Somebody will slap me. What I have? Man, let's go.
Charleston makes it clear he's not afraid to set boundaries or straight up leave the building. But walking out ain't that wild. We got a conversation about Chicago turning into Charleston pulling out a strap-on.
You definitely just can't say you're gonna slap somebody and then you ain't gonna slap them. And then they put, like, if you say you gonna slap somebody and they say, man, if you would have slapped me, you gonna die. And then you want to just talk back and forth goofy. No, you gotta apologize. Like, no, I told you what I, like, yeah, boy.
Camera. Of all the times Charleston White checked the interviewers, his confrontation with DJU in 2022 was probably the most intense. The tension started when Charleston was defending FBG Duck's mama and King Von's family. Charleston made it clear that he didn't care about King Von because Von was a savage when DJU told him not to speak on him like that. Charleston didn't care.
King Von was a killer. My mama had 2 sons locked up for murder, and my mama let everybody know I'm not in agreement in what my son's done. All right, but look, so this is what I'm saying. You can't make me care about King Von, mama. I don't know. Y'all love his mama, I don't.
You know, Von and Duck was like counting.
I don't know that.
That's when it goes from 0 to 100. Charleston's like, you can't tell me how to talk, especially since he felt he had every right to speak on this situation.
Why y'all not helping their mama? Why Texas got to pay his mama car note? Why? And y'all want to tell me what I'm going to do with my money?
Yeah, you want to do it because you...
I didn't... No. She asked me.
No. She asked
you. Goddamn not how I know that need a car note paid. How the f*** know she need a car note paid if she don't ask? You think I'm calling that you need a car note paid? So y'all go help the since y'all got so much to say. Give me back the money then. I ain't have to help now more you rotten ass. My mama ain't got a bunch of kids that died. All you hoes buried your baby all pain. Give me back my goddamn money.
In a wild moment showing just how quickly Charleston can flip, he upped the strap and made it clear that he wasn't playing games.
In Chicago,
For whatever.
Hold on, guys.
I don't give a f***. I keep a motherfucker on. I keep a motherfucker on. Nigga, I keep a motherfucker on, Chicago. Say, homie, you better what you got going. You better homie. What you mean what I'm on? With a gun in my hand.
DJU tried to laugh that off like it wasn't that serious, but Charleston was beyond talking at that point.
He ain't mine to speak to me. I can't say what I can say. I don't give a all that say. Let me say what I'm gonna say. Who told you that? Say, homie, interview over. I say, what can I brand in my motherfucking gun? Ain't nobody coming to treat you violently. Ain't nobody coming to you violently. Say, homie, any one of you. Ain't nobody coming to you violently. He asked you how you grab a gun. Don't do it,
Thankfully, nobody got shot, but this incident shows us why interviewers need to tread carefully with Mr. White. And speaking of these heated moments, the next podcast crew learn the expensive way why you shouldn't try to give someone a pop quiz during an interview. What started like a regular episode with the Think a Mill podcast crew would turn into Charleston trying to give back their money after a question about his temper rubbed him the wrong way.
Question, nigga, what the f*** wrong with you? Like, what you be on? Like, what's your angle? Like the way, like, what you...
I'm angry.
I figured.
I wake up just like the rest of you to shoot up the neighborhood. I wake up angry just like everybody else. To the club that don't pay attention to no...
The host tried to press Charleston, suggesting that while he acts happy, he's really just tripping on social media.
Well, how you an angry and always popping like you a happy nigga. So now you kind of... I be checking you out. You popping like you like a rapper or something.
Well, the rappers have always mimicked the players from the streets. The rappers have never came up with their own identity.
So you a carbon cop?
No. I was born before rap.
Now, Charleston didn't hold back any frustration, straight up telling everybody on the podcast that he hates talking to young people. The tension kept building, and then Charleston got hit with a question that he couldn't answer, which he called a quiz.
Uncle Wayne and them, who had a watch, who had a chain, who had a pinky ring, and who had cars that they own in barbershops. Yeah, I'm a barbershop. But to go back to your feelings, yeah, contradict.
Nah, we standing on feelings. This ain't no feelings. Your brain.
That's why I don't like talking to you.
Not even 3 seconds after that, Charleston was done. He stands up, walks out, telling his people to give the podcast hosts back their money. His reason? They weren't letting him speak his piece.
How do you? Because you asked me a question and you won't let me answer. You asked me a question.
But you want some police shit. I asked you something. You go with police question.
Your first question. Your first question was.
What's the first question? Let me see how old ass guys know.
Get them their money. They won't let me answer the question. Get them back their money.
Hey man, get your old ass back. Get your sensitive ass back over here.
Man, get them back their money. Let's go.
Really teaches us something here. When Charleston feels disrespected or like he's not being heard, he doesn't hesitate to cut things short and bounce, even if it means returning the...
So we didn't see Charleston curse somebody out, up the blicky, walk out. He done did a little bit of everything in his interviews. Let's keep going.
That ain't the only time Charleston stood on business.
Man.
He had to check this interviewer on who's really helping the community. When White pulls up to 97.9 The Beat, what could have been a regular promo interview turns into some real talk about how the radio's been moving in the community. It all pops off when Charleston is talking about his experiences out there and had to address how the game's changed.
So coming from a community standpoint, there's many boots on the ground, grassroots organizations that feel like our local radio station don't do enough in the community or highlight the local people in the community. The celebrities come through here. We don't make them stop at the schools no more. We don't make them stop at the community centers. So everywhere I travel throughout the country, I make it my business.
Drawing from over 10 years of community work, White breaks down how radio stations used to do it. Bringing artists straight to the hood, making them connect with schools and community spots before they could even get on air.
I've been working in the community for over 12 years directly with Councilman Caraway, John Wiley Price, the Dallas mayor, Greg Abbott. I work and live in this city. And when I say the radio station, the church is invisible to our communities. I don't care what y'all say y'all do here and behind stage.
When host Jazzy Black tried to defend how the station handles things now, Charleston had to set it straight. It wasn't personal, but facts about how corporate radio lost its connection to the streets they say they represent.
Most people don't even know where this radio station is. We don't even know what y'all look like. I hear you, but this is my first time seeing you. I hear these radio personalities. I barely know what I barely know what y'all look like, and we live here.
To back that up, he lists everybody he worked with, from city officials to community leaders.
Y'all just got one video, but everybody gets it around here from me.
I agree. My only thing is I don't want it to be one of those narratives that's created like the radio station ain't doing. Because that's absolutely not what's happening.
It's not a narrative. It's a fact.
It's not a fact.
I live here.
Just because I live here too.
So, but you work here.
Instead of just throwing shade, he was painting a bigger picture about industry changes. But Jazzy wasn't really feeling the perspective.
You said you guys are told what to do.
I'm not told what to do.
You just told me that the radio, whoever the radio labels is, the record, the music labels, tell them what they can do when they come here. So
that's on them.
So they say, so you're told that you can't go out here and do certain things because you have a boss.
Who are we to stop people from having an experience with some people that they love because they don't have 5 minutes before scheduled time? I mean, people put money into this stuff.
Then it gets heated when Charleston calls out how radio stations weren't there for him during his legal problems. Something Jazzy took personally.
The radio never spoke of nothing, but they'll speak of a viral moment, a viral video.
What are you talking about? You pulling shit out of your ass. Like, I myself go down to juvenile detention centers. We out here doing groundwork.
Let's not make it personal.
I am making it personal.
You said I, and I said the radio.
I'm just
I don't
one
know
person.
you, but I don't know you though.
Okay, so
I'm just
listen.
I don't know you, mama.
person.
I said the radio.
As an entity.
I said the radio.
As an entity, we are doing groundwork every day. We got trucks out in the street right now.
Where?
We got niggas out here everywhere.
Where? Give me a location.
We was in Fair Park, South Dallas yesterday.
Give me a location.
From 8 to 2 a.m.
Where? Because we don't
I
see
just
y'all.
said at Fair Park.
We don't see.
Nigga, you can go online and see it.
I'm telling you 12 years. You're telling me one day.
And that's what you get when street politics clash into the corporate world, showing how some conversations just hit different when you're speaking truth to power. But if you think that was tense, we got Charleston again, dropping some perspective. So when it comes to wild interview moments, Charleston White's sit down about Asian quips shows how quick things can just switch up. And what starts as an interviewer trying to get White's take on some feedback from the Asian community turned into something else entirely. The energy was vibing out when he tried to explain how some Asian folks felt about their connection to black culture. Now, White's not trying to hear any of that, turning what was supposed to be a conversation into his own thing.
They're highly upset about what you said about the Asian community. They feel as though they feel as though they were raised with black people. They have brothers who were black. They came from the same struggle.
They ain't come out no black. They ain't come out to see the. So whatever they think they grew up with, they are not us.
Things get real heated when White started to break down how these same people had used the N-word against him, a black man.
But how can they disrespect? They can't take that word and use it against me. That's the example I use, right? They want to embrace our culture, but when they get mad at us, how do they say though? How can they use that word toward a black guy and call me a?
He goes deeper, talking about how he can't respect anyone trying to use black culture as a weapon against black people.
I don't like anybody who think they can take our culture and use our culture against us and then want to use the word derogatory toward a. And they say they our brothers.
When the interviewer tried to cool things down by saying the Asian community was being respectful, White wasn't having it.
They didn't respect, homie.
They were saying the delivery.
They wasn't even saying the delivery. They were saying, that's the old day. That's the South. They was disrespecting the South. They didn't show no respect. They were saying, that's the old day. They saying they got the right to call us. They shoot at us, is what they telling us. We taking y'all culture and we gang bang against y'all, but we don't have no evidence of riding with y'all. They don't ride in prison.
The situation got more tense when the interviewer suggested that some Asians consider themselves part of black culture. Ooh, White shut that down quick.
You know, they were basically saying that they're because they grew up with black people.
They dick ain't big. They don't have big. Chinese men don't have. They can't never be no. They can't talk how I talk because my is bigger than a Mexican man. My is bigger than a Chinese man.
So instead of just backing off, White kept the pressure on, putting the interviewer in the hot seat for even bringing up these kind of topics.
How they tell them how they homie. Tell them to go look at the motherfucking me mass incarceration statistics. They ain't joined in with us with the prison population. 1 out of every 3 of us going to prison in America. How the they are and them ain't going to jail like us. When last time you seen the police shoot one of them round face motherfuckers?
An important lesson in due diligence. You better know what you're doing when you're dealing with people who aren't afraid to speak their mind. You can't just throw out spicy topics and expect everything to stay cool.
All right, make sure y'all drop a like on this. This was crazy. In my opinion, Charleston White, honestly, he says what he says. Some of the stuff, like when it came to Gilly the Kid, I didn't agree with, but he apologized for that, but I definitely didn't agree with that. But everything else, for the most part, I agree with. Like, he said what he said, and it was just some honest truths, and his delivery is very abrupt and very, I said what I said, but I agree for the most part. Y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know if Charleston White be tripping or he be speaking facts, man. All right, it's your boy. What's up, G? If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. I'm out, y'all. He definitely crazy, though.